When Cory Booker looked Kash Patel dead in the eye and asked, "Would you lie for Donald Trump?" the question landed like a weight. It wasn't a gotcha line for cable. It was the simplest possible test of suitability for an office that depends entirely on trust. Will the person in charge of America's FBI put fidelity to the rule of law above personal or political loyalty? To understand why that question matters, let's walk this through slowly.
Mr. Patel, do you know any of these 5 individuals? Erica Knight, Tom Ferguson, Greg Menser, Steve Reese, or Carlos Fernandez?
Yes, Senator.
Who are they?
People I've worked with in the past at some point.
I'm told that those are the people that will be additional political appointees to help run the FBI. Is that correct?
That's news to me, Senator.
Under the history of the Federal Bureau of Investigation since the reforms in the early 1970s, there's only been one political appointee. I'm told that these will be additional political appointees, 5 extra political appointees. Do you know if Reese or Fernandez are affiliated with SpaceX or Elon Musk?
I don't.
I'm told that they are affiliated with SpaceX and Elon Musk, and that he had influence in who will be placed around you as political appointees. Mr. Patel, did you see the President of the United States declassify the documents that were found at Mar-a-Lago?
I witnessed the President of the United States issue a declassification order for documents.
That did not answer my question. Did you or did you not see the President of the United States declassify the documents that he was holding, the classified documents that were at Mar-a-Lago? And did you?
I don't know the answer to that question because I don't know what was fully found because the Justice Department hasn't made that public.
You claim publicly that you saw President Trump declassify documents. Is that correct?
That's correct, Senator.
So you did indeed see President Trump declassify the documents that were found at Mar-a-Lago that he refused to turn over. Is that correct?
No, what I said, Senator, was I heard and witnessed the President issue a declassification order for a number of documents.
For the documents specifically that were at Mar-a-Lago?
When he issued that order, there was documents. I don't know what was found and what was not found at Mar-a-Lago. I wasn't there.
So this is the issue. The question is will you lie for the President of the United States? Would you lie for Donald Trump?
No.
I hear you saying no, but the best way to clarify that would be to testify, as you are allowed by law, upon what you said to the grand jury. Because that grand jury, as you just said to my colleague, 2 or 3 days of it was about this specific issue. And so as my time ends, Mr. Chairman, it would be utterly irresponsible for this committee to move forward with his nomination unless we know factually, which can be proven by looking at the documents that he's refusing to testify towards. It would be irresponsible for us to move forward if we do not know that the future head of the FBI would break the law and lie for the President of the United States. We can find that out factually if we had access to the testimony or if he would tell us what he said to the grand jury, which by the law of the United States of America, he's allowed to, but he's refusing to do so. He is refusing the transparency that he claims to adhere to. He is refusing to be direct with the United States Senate. He is refusing to be transparent and put it all out there. Did he or did he not lie for the president? That is the question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
At first glance, the exchange starts with names.
Mr.
Erica
Patel,
Knight,
do you know any of
Tom
these
Ferguson,
5
Greg
individuals?
Maynor, Steve Reese,
Erica
Carlos
Knight,
Fernandez.
Tom
And that could feel like
Ferguson,
inside baseball.
Greg Menser,
But Booker wasn't being
Steve
pedantic.
Reese,
He was
or
sketching a
Carlos
pattern.
Fernandez?
Since the 1970s, after a series of
Yes, Senator.
reforms following scandals and abuses, the
people I've
FBI has
worked with
operated with a
in the past.
firewall against partisan
I'm told that
staffing at
those are
senior
the people
levels.
that will be
That
additional
institutional
political
insulation
appointees
isn't a
to
quaint
help run the
rule.
FBI.
It's the
Is that
mechanism that keeps investigations
news to
focused
me,
on
Senator.
evidence and law, not on
Under
who's
the history
politically
of
favored.
the Federal
So
Bureau
when
of
senators raise the
Investigation since the
prospect of
reforms in the early
multiple political
1970s,
appointees
they've
placed
only
around
one
a new
political
director,
appointee. I'm
they're
told
not
that
quibbling
these
about
will be
HR. They're pointing
additional
to a
political
structural
appointees,
risk
5 extra
that investigative
political appointees.
priorities and personnel
Do you know if,
decisions could be
Reese
steered
or
by
Fernandez
politics
are
rather
affiliated
than by
with
probable
SpaceX
cause.
or Elon
That
Musk?
concern collided with a
don't.
second,
I'm
sharper
told
problem
that
in
they are
Booker's
affiliated
questioning,
with
statements about
SpaceX
declassification
Elon
and
Musk,
Mar-a-Lago.
and that he
Patel
had
publicly
influence
said
in who
he
would be
witnessed the
placed around
president
you as
issue a
political
declassification
appointees.
order. But Booker pressed, if you
Mr.
saw the order,
Patel,
did you see exactly what
did
was
you see the President of the
declassified?
United
Did you
States
see the documents?
declassify the
Patel's
documents
answer was
that
cautious.
were found
He
at
says he
Mar-a-Lago?
heard and witnessed an order being issued, but can't
I
verify
witnessed the
what was
President of the United
actually found at
States
Mar-a-Lago.
issue a declassification
That
order
distinction
for
matters
documents.
legally and politically.
That did not
A
answer my question.
declassification
Did you or
order
did
and
you
proof
not
a document was
see the President of the
declassified are
United
two
States
different things.
declassify
One is an
the
authoritative
documents
directive, the other
that
is
he was
verifiable
holding,
documentary chain of
classified
custody.
documents that were at
When a prospective
Mar-a-Lago?
FBI director makes public claims
I
about
don't know the
classified
answer to that
material
question 'cause I
and
don't
his
know what
role
was
in
fully found
declassification,
because the Justice Department
senators
hasn't made that
reasonably
public.
ask for clear factual anchors, which is what
You
Booker
claimed
kept
publicly
pushing
that
for.
you saw
So Booker moves from names and
President Trump
declassification to
declassified
one blunt,
documents.
unavoidable
Is that correct?
question.
That's correct.
If confirmed, would you lie to protect the president?
did
On the
indeed
surface,
see
it's moral.
President
Would you
Trump
tell a falsehood?
declassify
But
the
practically,
documents
it's
that were
about whether the
found
director could be
at
trusted in
Mar-a-Lago
criminal
that he refused to
investigations,
turn over.
where the
Is that
president
correct?
or his allies
What-
are
what I
subjects
said,
or
Senator,
witnesses.
was I
The Senate's
heard
job in
and witnessed the
confirmation
President
is to
issue a
assess both
declassification
competence
order
and character.
for a number of
If a director were
documents.
willing to shade
For the
facts or
documents
to hide
specifically that were
testimony to
at
protect
Mar-a-Lago?
a political principle,
When he issued
that would
that
mean the
order,
person could
there was
weaponize the
documents.
Bureau or
I don't know
undercut
what was
ongoing
found and what was not
investigations.
found at
That's why
Mar-a-Lago. I
Booker
wasn't there.
repeatedly linked Patel's
So,
testimony
this
to
is
what
the
Patel either told the grand jury or
The
refused
question
to
is, will
disclose.
you lie for
Booker
the
argued
President
the
of the
committee could
United States?
establish the
Would you
facts if
lie for
Patel
Donald
simply made
Trump?
his grand
No.
jury statements available
I
or
hear you
testified
saying
about
no,
them
but the
under
best way to
oath.
clarify
The point
that
wasn't to manufacture
would be
drama,
to
it was to
testify
demand a
as you are
factual
allowed
record the
by
Senate could
law
evaluate.
upon
There's
what
also the
you
influence
said
angle
to the
Booker
grand
raised.
jury.
Reports and
Because that grand
testimony
jury,
suggested links
as you
between
just said
some
to my
proposed
colleague 2 or
appointees
3
and
days of
outside
it
actors like
was
SpaceX or
about this
Elon Musk.
specific issue. And so,
Again,
as
whether
my
that is a
time ends,
decisive
Mr.
fact
Chairman,
depends on evidence.
it would be
Who
utterly
recommended who,
irresponsible
what were their
for
roles,
this committee
and whether
to move
any
forward
outside
with his
influence
nomination
affected investigatory
unless we know
decisions.
factually, which
The
can
reason
be
Booker
proven
emphasized it is structural. The
by looking at
FBI's
the documents
independence
he's
depends
refusing
not
to
just on the
testify
director's
for.
intent, but on the
It would be
surrounding architecture of
irresponsible for us to move
advisors and
forward if we
deputies.
do not know
If
that the
powerful
future head
private
of
actors
the
can steer
FBI
those slots,
would break
even
the law
indirectly,
and
the
lie
Bureau's
for the President
neutrality
of the
could be
United States.
compromised.
We could
That's
find
not a
that out
partisan
factually
talking point,
if
it's
we
a
had
governance
access to the
problem.
testimony, or if
Finally,
he
put this in political
would
context.
tell us
This was
what
not
he
an
said to the
isolated
grand
hearing in a
jury,
vacuum.
which by the law
The
of the
nomination
United States of
unfolded
America,
amid
he's
broader
allowed
partisan
to,
fights
but he's
about the
refusing
FBI's
to do
mission
so.
and prior controversies
refusing
involving
the
classified
transparency that he
documents,
claims to
special
adhere
counsel
to.
reports,
His
and agency
documents
personnel moves.
that he was
Republicans
holding,
framed Patel as a
the classified
reformer.
documents that were at
Democrats flagged a
Mar-a-Lago.
pattern of evasiveness,
you-
requested additional
don't know
hearings,
the answer to
and
that
warned
question
about
because I
moves
don't know
that
what was
resemble
fully found because
politicization.
the Justice Department
The
hasn't
Senate
made that
ultimately
public.
advanced Patel's nomination on a tight party line
claimed
path,
publicly that
but the
you
exchange
saw
with Booker crystallized why those votes
President
were so
Trump
fraught.
declassified
At stake
documents.
isn't
Is
just
that correct?
policy direction, it's whether the nation's top domestic law
So you
enforcement
did
office will be
indeed
run in a
see
way that
President Trump
prioritizes objective
declassify
enforcement of
the
law
documents that
over
were
protection of
found
political allies.
Mar-a-Lago
So
that
what
he
should you take
refused to
away?
turn over. Is that
First,
correct?
confirmations
Well,
are
what I
not
said,
theater
Senator,
when the
was
office is the
I
FBI
heard
director.
and witnessed the
They are an
President issue a
institutional check
declassification
meant to reveal
order
how
for a
nominees
number
think
of
about
documents.
independence, rule of
the
law, and
documents
evidence.
specifically that were at
Second,
Mar-a-Lago?
questions about
When
who
he
sits around a
issued that
director
order,
and how
there was
classified
documents.
actions are
I
described
don't know what
publicly
was
matter.
found and what was
They shape
not
public
found at
trust
Mar-a-Lago.
and the
I
Bureau's
wasn't
ability
there.
to operate.
So,
And third,
this is the
Booker's
issue.
line, "Would you lie for the president?"
question
is
is,
shorthand
will
for a
you
more
lie for the
technical,
President of the
consequential
United
test.
States? Would you
Will this
lie
director
for Donald
preserve the
Trump?
integrity of
No.
investigations when they touch
hear
the
you saying
powerful?
no, but
What
the
do you
best way to
think?
clarify
Was Booker
that
right to demand clarity?
to
Did Patel's
testify as you
answer
were allowed
satisfy the
by
standard
law
of candor the Senate needs?
upon what
Drop
you
your thoughts
said
below.
to the grand
Tell
jury?
us which part of the
Because that
exchange
grand jury,
surprised you most
as
and
you just
why.
said to my
If you
colleague,
found
2 or
this
3
breakdown
days of it
useful, like,
was about
subscribe, subscribe
this
and share
specific issue.
so we can
And
keep
so
turning
as my
tense
time
moments
ends,
into
Mr.
clear
Chairman,
explanations you can actually use.